What's up, Doc? I'm Pugs Bunny. I like to talk about comics here. Today we're going to look at a bizarre crossover with an even crazier backstory. Before the time of mass shootings being so common, it wasn't weird to see things like guns being advertised to kids in media. This is probably the reason why this crossover never happened again, even though it sold well and was positively received. Originally, fans and critics alike thought this was a joke. The two comic series had vastly different tones in story and art. So to tackle that problem, Batton Lash, the mastermind behind the story, had Archie artist Goldberg and Marvel artist Buscema do the pencil art, each drawing characters and settings to their respective companies. And then inker Palmer would provide the inks for the project, smoothing the differences in style. The pitch did start as a joke, ironically, an idea that would capture the attention of all comic collectors, and the potential for major success. The original storyline went as follows. Archie arrives at good old Riverdale High. Security people are installing metal detectors. Kids have been bringing weapons to school. When he arrives home, he notices the door is open. The house had been ransacked and blood was everywhere. His parents are dead, and the police aren't doing much. So Archie enlists the aid of the Punisher. Yeah, so Richard Goldwater and Michael Silterkit, publishers of Archie Comics, did not consider it at all. Probably because Archie's parents dying would have been a major game changer. The idea was passed on to Batton Lash, who was the creator of Wolf and Bird, Counselors of the Macabre. He was able to make a perfect script mixing both styles, and so Project A was born. Honestly, it's a really wholesome story. Now with all that out of the way, allow me to give a quick overview of who the Punisher and Archie are. The Punisher is Frank Castle. He witnessed his family be brutally murdered in front of him. So he decides to never let innocent people die like his family. So Castle used his lethal marine training to fight a war on crime, giving a punishment fit for the crime. Archie is a red-headed, freckled 1950s high schooler who respects his parents and is loyal to his community. In beautiful Riverdale, USA, he's split between two loves, girl next door Betty and spoiled daughter of affluence, Veronica. Our story begins with the puffs and pants of someone on the run. The man turns a corner with the Punisher in hot pursuit. The man jumps a wall as the Punisher pulls his gun, but the man fires first, dropping his hat in the process. The Punisher looks at Union Station, where the man he was chasing buys a train ticket for Riverdale, the man resembling Archie almost to a T. We cut to Archie in Riverdale. He's ringing the doorbell to Veronica's house, so he can ask her out on a date to a 50s sock hop, which is just an organized dance. When suddenly, he's sprayed by her little bastard cousin Leroy, so Archie pulls the strap. Well, it's a water hose, but he sprays the kid. Of course, Veronica sees that part, so she turns him down, making the playboy walk down the street soaking wet. But a car stalks behind Archie. A man named Binky tells Buzzy to follow him. Meanwhile, the Punisher's interrogating a man in a comic shop, tracking him through the mysterious man now dubbed Red. Castle gets the information he needs, and he gets in a van with his partner on the case, Micro. The two drive to Riverdale, unsure what kind of town it is, being used to grungy and grimy cities. We cut back to Riverdale. Red enters with Veronica's father. He's convinced her father that he's the chairman of Polsky Pharmaceuticals. Veronica, not impressed, hatched a devious plan to make Archie jealous. She asked Red to accompany her to the sock hop. Meanwhile, Castle and Micro are driving through the town, actually taking in the scenery. Frank and Micro pull over, and Frank stares out to the town, seeing a scene where he's walking with his family. Micro seeing in Castle's eyes that this is the way it could have been. Just to take an excerpt from the comic, Micro narrates, Castle didn't say a word. He didn't have to. I could read his mind on this one. The feds want Red Fever so bad, they made a deal with Castle to bring him in alive. The continued narration explains that Red is a renowned drug lord. When one business crashes, he starts again. He's got the fever. Micro and Castle decide to familiarize themselves with the town. But that's when we see Archie moping around with Jughead, drinking milkshakes. Two shady men sit in a neighboring booth. The two men, Binky and Buzzy, rush Archie and Jughead, pulling out fake badges to fool the server. This convinced Archie that they were now involved in matters of national security. Archie and the others pack into the car. But Castle and Micro are keeping a close eye on them, Castle thinking Archie is Red. Meanwhile, Veronica and Red both arrive at the sock hop, seeing two friends of Archie's, Betty and Reggie, who can quickly tell that Red is not Archie, the two wondering what happened to him since he was supposed to be Veronica's date. Well, we see he's in the back of the car. Buzzy noticing that they are being tailed by the Punisher, causing Archie and Jughead to panic. The Punisher lets off some warning shots and runs their car off the road. Archie lays on the asphalt while the Punisher looms over him. At the sock hop, we see Josie and the Pussycats are putting on a show, and a stagehand Scooter notices Red, recognizing him, and then he goes to make a quick call. As the dance goes on, Red makes it clear to Veronica that he's going to own this town. He starts scaring Veronica as Scooter makes this call to a man. We see Betty looking around for Archie, but Archie's locking eyes with Castle. And when he puts the gun up to Archie's nose, that's the moment when Castle realizes Archie is not Red. But suddenly, Castle turns, firing his gun. Castle is shooting at a rock that Jughead threw to distract him, giving Archie enough time to run to Jughead. Jughead and Archie escape through a pipe while Micro and Castle follow Binky and Buzzy on the road, Micro coming up with an idea that would involve the hitman living. Archie and Jughead run to the police station, pleading their case to the chief. He's reluctant at first since Archie has overreacted to many other incidences that turned out to be nothing. The chief breaks and allows Officer Berlin to help. We see Castle and Micro staking out the hitman, meeting with Ernie, the guy Scooter called, where he hears them discuss the job was actually to whack Red, so the feds can't get any info from him. And they mention where Red is, the Riverdale High School gym. But before Castle and Micro can head that way, the police start questioning him. Castle and Micro quickly handle the two with a quick punch and speed off towards the sock hop. That's where we see Officer Berlin drop Archie and Jughead off, annoying them. Reggie and Betty run up to them, relieved to see Archie, but he warns them that he's a danger to be around. No one takes him seriously, thinking he's jealous that Veronica brought a look-alike instead of him. Archie realizes what that means, and Jughead's response is actually hilarious. Archie asks him, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And Jughead says, "Yes, we've got to warn that guy in case the Punisher comes after him, thinking he's you." But, everyone realizes the danger they're actually in. So they all rush off to save Veronica. Meanwhile, Castle slides into a window, and as he walks down the hallway, he takes in the fact that he didn't remember the last time being in a school without bars on the windows or dilapidated classrooms. We get a nice shot of the dance where we see Josie and the Pussycats performing, and Red getting a little too comfortable with Veronica. The principal walks up, but Red drags Veronica away before she can say anything. As we see the hitman from before had taken disguises on at the dance. Castle blends in with the crowd, assuming the role of psych ed teacher to fool some old people, and Red actually sees Castle and pulls a gun, taking Veronica hostage quietly. Archie rushes through the crowd, asking anyone and everyone if they've seen Veronica, and they spot her with Red. Archie runs to call the cops, but as the hitman pulls a gun to shoot him, Punisher punishes the man with a hard swing to the jaw. A gunfight breaks out between the henchman and the Punisher, and Micro tries to apprehend Red, but Moose, another Archie character, knocks him out, thinking Micro was trying to shoot Archie, pissing Veronica off. Archie is taken hostage by the hitman dressed like a chef, and while Castle and the men lock eyes, Punisher throws a kick into the man's face, knocking him out. Punisher helps Archie up to his feet, assuring him he's here to help. Meanwhile, all the parents and the police are freaking out that the Punisher's in the town, going back and forth on what to do. Back at Pop's chocolate shop, the shop that Archie was kidnapped at, Archie and his friends order frappes while Castle and Micro discuss their next move, keeping an eye on Archie. Archie in his own world wants to clobber Red for kidnapping Veronica, but he's quickly snapped out of it by Betty, telling him they have a recording of Red. The recording is of Red extorting Veronica's father, using her as leverage. Archie notices she said in the tape, "He's not full of hot air," making him suspect Red is at the setup for the 4th of July parade. But before leaving, Someone calls Castle. But before knowing what was said, we see Red searching a room for Veronica, who was able to hide from him. He flips the power on, revealing a bunch of floats like Spider-Man and, shockingly enough, Sonic. The Spider-Man float scares Red, which makes me think Red's main op is Spider-Man. Punisher appears, pointing a gun as Red takes Veronica hostage. Punisher leverages with Red, telling him Scooter, the stagehand from earlier who called the hitman, was in jail and spilling his guts out about Red, making him expendable. Red calls the bluff, and suddenly Archie and the gang rush in. Red and the Punisher begin to have another shootout, and Veronica, the survivalist she is, trips Red, causing a ricochet bullet to hit a float, that then falls on top of the Punisher. As Red rushes to grab Veronica, Archie rides in on a serving cart, crashing into Red, sending him into a switch that opened the roof, and it also knocked his top piece off, showing his actual bald head. Red with anger, he marches over to the dizzy Archie, who's being helped up by Veronica. Red steps on a loose rope though. The float floats up. As Red grabs his gun, the float rises up, pulling Red into the air. Red hangs there upside down, Castle assuring himself the feds will get him, and whether he breaks out or not, his empire is ruined, and he will always live in fear of the Punisher. As everything wraps up, Castle makes his exit, being given gifts. Even Jughead gave Micro burgers for the road. They leave on a happy note for once, on their way to Gotham. Archie thinks he's pretty grim and gritty, but Veronica tells him to take a bath. And we end on dialogue. "This is who I'm supposed to be afraid of? Cerebro says you're the most dangerous mutant alive. If that's the case, I'm gonna have to find out what you're made of, bub." As we see 3 claws slice through a paper with a very smug, very royal looking Jughead. So wow, this crossover defied expectation in my opinion. The writer Batton Lash really knew the universes very well, and the way he went about doing the art was a really good move, keeping a consistency between the Punisher's usual look and Archie's style. It shocks me that we got a Punisher comic book without him actually killing anybody, and Archie being the crossover just threw me for a loop. And as something that started off as a joke, it really evolved into something way more. So yeah, I personally really like it. I hope y'all liked it. If y'all have any more ideas for crossovers or whatnot, I would love to check them out, especially ones that are like this, where you just don't think it would work, but it works really well. So thank you for watching, and have a great day. Oh, and just to add in, there is no crossover with Wolverine and Archie, but there is one with Batman.